People assumed canceling Yellowstone was a foregone conclusion. How Yellowstone's streaming rights ended up with Peacock explained by Paramount CEO. The Paramount CEO fully explains how Yellowstone's streaming rights ended up with Peacock and how that influenced Paramount's strategy. Taylor Sheridan's Western series began in 2018, running for 5 seasons and concluding late last year. Though it got a slow start with critics in its premiere season, Yellowstone ended up being extremely well-reviewed and has expanded its universe through multiple spin-off series. One of the spin-offs is currently on streaming, 1923 Season 2, which is getting stellar reviews thus far. Speaking with The Wrap, Paramount CEO Chris McCarthy fully explained how Yellowstone's streaming rights ended on Peacock. When the show had completed Season 2, it was expensive enough to warrant selling the streaming rights to Peacock. Strategically, McCarthy decided to switch Yellowstone to Sunday nights and to work on streaming exclusives 1883 and 1923. Then, when Paramount Plus launched, he decided to focus his energy on shows with big-name stars. Check out McCarthy's full quote below. Now that Paramount Plus is a streaming service, not having streaming rights to Yellowstone is an undeniable loss. However, McCarthy is vouching for how Paramount changed its entire strategy to account for this and take the best path moving forward. The streamer, unfortunately, faced the challenge of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes not long after launching, but eventually was able to carry forward with their major shows led by major stars. They made Lioness with Nicole Kidman and Morgan Freeman, Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone, and shows like Landman and The Agency. Even without Yellowstone available to the streamer, the impressive lineup has kept the reviews strong for Paramount Plus shows. According to Nielsen data, the streamer was ranked No. 2 on SVOD in terms of most hours watched of original series during the fourth quarter of 2024. This was likely helped by shows like Landman and Tulsa King, which are a listener-driven and a clear part of their ongoing strategy. So Paramount Plus may not be able to benefit from Yellowstone's streaming numbers, but McCarthy was smart to pivot strategies to account for this loss. While Paramount Plus still gets to rest in the streaming glory of Sheridan, shows like 1923, selling the Yellowstone streaming rights to Peacock still could present challenges moving forward. A few months ago, it was announced that the flagship show's team would develop a spin-off featuring Rip and Beth, and that Yellowstone would be part of the title. Following this announcement, some reports surmised that this likeness could create legal issues for Paramount in securing the rights for the spin-off series. The streamer could continue to lose more potential streaming revenue should Peacock maintain rights to this offshoot program. When the news broke that Yellowstone would be coming to an end after its 5th season, many assumed the decision was a foregone conclusion. The behind-the-scenes drama, Kevin Costner's reported departure, and Taylor Sheridan's growing empire of spin-offs all seemed to contribute to the flagship show's demise. However, according to Paramount CEO Bob Beckish, the end of Yellowstone wasn't necessarily a given. Had it not been for a complex web of streaming rights, things might have played out very differently. The saga of Yellowstone's streaming rights is one of Hollywood's most confounding missteps, one that Beckish has openly admitted Paramount wishes it could take back. At the heart of the issue is a deal struck years ago when the industry landscape looked very different. Before Paramount Plus had fully cemented itself as the go-to home for the network's biggest shows, the studio was still licensing content to other platforms. And that's exactly what happened with Yellowstone, a show that at the time of its debut, no one could have predicted would become the highest-rated series on cable television. How Yellowstone ended up on Peacock. In 2020, when Yellowstone was already gaining traction, Paramount made a decision that, in hindsight, seems baffling. The company sold the exclusive streaming rights to the show to NBC Universal's Peacock, a deal that allowed Yellowstone to bypass Paramount Plus entirely. This was before Paramount Plus had become a major player in the streaming wars. And at the time, securing licensing revenue seemed like the safer bet. The deal was lucrative, but as the show's popularity soared, it became clear that Paramount had essentially given away its crown jewel to a competitor. According to Backish, the company underestimated just how big Yellowstone would become. At the time, we thought it was a good deal. We didn't anticipate it becoming the cultural phenomenon it is today, he explained in a recent interview. By the time Paramount realized the extent of the mistake, it was too late. Unlike other deals where streaming rights revert after a set period, the Peacock agreement is a long-term, exclusive arrangement. This meant that while Yellowstone aired on the Paramount network, fans looking to stream past seasons had to go to Peacock. The irony was not lost on viewers, who found it confusing that a Paramount show wasn't available on Paramount's own streaming service. While Paramount Plus housed the Yellowstone spin-offs, 1883, 1923, and the upcoming 1944, the main show, the one that started it all, was locked away on a rival platform. Would Yellowstone have been canceled without the Peacock deal? This is where the streaming rights saga gets even more interesting. Had Paramount retained the exclusive streaming rights to Yellowstone, the financial incentives to keep the show running longer would have been much stronger. Paramount Plus has made a name for itself as the home of Yellowstone's extended universe, but not being able to offer the flagship series itself has been a major hurdle. Backish admitted that if Yellowstone had been fully under Paramount's control, the studio might have pushed harder to continue the series beyond season 5. Would things have played out differently? Absolutely, he said. When you own the full ecosystem, broadcast, streaming, and licensing, it changes the equation. Instead, Paramount had to weigh the costs of extending the show's life while knowing that all past seasons were benefiting a competitor. With Sheridan's focus shifting to other projects and Costner's reported contractual disputes, the incentives to wrap up Yellowstone became much clearer. What happens now? With Yellowstone ending, Paramount is banking on its spin-offs to carry the franchise forward. 1923, starring Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, has been a major hit for Paramount Plus, and upcoming projects like 1944 and 6666 are expected to expand the universe even further. However, the Peacock deal remains a thorn in Paramount's side. While fans have speculated about a possible buyout of the streaming rights, such a move would likely be expensive. NBC Universal knows the value of Yellowstone and isn't in any rush to let go of one of its biggest streaming assets. Meanwhile, Sheridan has made it clear that he has no shortage of ideas for the Yellowstone universe. The franchise isn't dying, it's evolving. The upcoming Matthew McConaughey-led spinoff is already in development, and with Sheridan's track record, there's little doubt it will find an audience. Lessons learned. For Paramount, the Yellowstone debacle has been a lesson in the importance of long-term streaming strategy. In an era where streaming rights are more valuable than ever, the mistake of handing over such a massive hit to a competitor won't be easily forgotten. Moving forward, Paramount is being much more strategic with its content. Recent hits like Tulsa King and Mayor of Kingstown have remained firmly within the Paramount Plus ecosystem, ensuring that the company reaps the full benefits of its success. As for Yellowstone, while its run is coming to an end, its impact on television and the streaming wars will be felt for years to come. The show may be heading toward its conclusion, but the lessons Paramount has learned from its journey are only just beginning.